Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Hello boys! This video will be fun to make. There also is another guy who made reviews on the comics, JJ Starwind, but I can't find half of his reviews and his mic quality.
Hey, how's it going everyone? This is JJ Wilson.
Gotta thank that person for translating.
Beautiful World War II microphone. All jokes aside, I hope I can pretty much do the exact same thing he did to not get my video taken down, by removing most of the text from the panels that I'll be showing and cropping/blurring the imagery. What I failed to realize in the early stages of making this video was that I came up with the bright idea of adding my own text to all of the panels. Yeah, so like 80% of the panels that have text are completely unrelated and are there to be funny, or what I thought at the moment when adding the text, and the rest 20% is pretty much copy and paste of what was originally said but worded differently. So when you see text, it's because of that, so just literally ignore what I said 20 seconds ago. Also, the comic is all pretty much fight scenes which I can't realistically describe, and the story constantly flips perspectives, meaning on one panel Group A is fighting and on the next one Group B, which can sometimes be confusing, so I'll try my best to make sense of it, sometimes going panel by panel whilst other times telling you what happened immediately. I might get some information wrong, but what can you expect from a 48 sub channel? I'll be splitting this video into 4 parts: intro, the actual story, character analysis, and conclusion, so check out the timestamps. I'm going to be doing a bit of backstory before getting into the comics. Gangsta Cursed is a spin-off of the comics and anime Gangsta, and it's an action comic written and drawn by Kamo Syuhei. The comic is set 12 years before the third destroyer attack, and it tells the story of Marco and the second destroyer attack. In Marco's fight with Stryker, in the main story, he gets his flashback of the second destroyer attack, and that's on what this story is based around. Also, Marco is called Spaz in the story, so you don't get confused. Before actually getting into the main story, I just want to explain a few things. Like the Pol Klee Guild, I'm just gonna call them the Guild because it's way easier and it's pretty much the same thing. They are mercenaries that keep the city in order and that will try to stop the destroyers. And everything else I will explain as the story goes. Also, when I mention cleanup, that means they're either breaking the Geneva Convention or a character is dead. So yeah. Enjoy the video. The story starts with the second destroyers looking at Ergastulum, knowing that they're on a mission to exterminate Twilights. All of them are superhuman normals. That means they get all the benefits of Celeber and none of the side effects or toxicity. Celeber is a drug that was used in the war, and it results in people either becoming Twilights or superhuman normals, which is pretty much stronger and better humans. All 5 of them have been trained to kill Twilights and been taught that all Twilights are bad and need to be exterminated. After a bit of cleanup, Spaz and Stryker get into an argument about Stryker playing around, but before they have a fight, Beretta stops them. At this time, Daniel Moreau is being briefed about the current situation on the attack on Ergastulum, him saying that didn't they learn their lesson from before and that this town has always been stained with blood. Spaz finds some Twilights hiding and gets attacked by a human. When he asks why is he defending them, he says that they are his family. This is where Spaz gets the seed of doubt planted here, and wonders if what has been taught was wrong. But Maverick steps in to help him by cleaning up the man and the family. Galahad is talking to his friend from the guild and tells him to send all the Twilights to Bastard. Bastard is a bar that is a safe haven for the Twilights. Luca decides to head out to help guide Twilights to safety. Galahad tries to convince him that it's not worth it putting himself at risk, but Luca refuses and goes anyway. Luca is one of the 4 godfathers of the city and he's responsible for the safety of the Twilights, and Galahad is his right-hand man. The destroyers get attacked by some Pol Klee guild members and they're no match and they quickly get cleaned up. Stryker gets split up from the group and Beretta goes to find him. Spaz, Maverick and Minimi get ambushed by actual competent guild members and they have a fight. Eventually, Spaz is cornered by Ava, so Spaz tells her to stop acting human. Ava tells him that she hates humans and that the humans are the ones who killed her family. Before Spaz can get sent back to the lobby, he gets saved by Stryker. Stryker and Beretta join in the fight against the guild members. Spaz injects a stim to get back into the fight. Then Chester gets taken out by Stryker and Ava gets wrapped in the spiky whip sword. She tells them that they're just like the humans who killed their parents and starts crying, but Beretta sends her back to the lobby. Luca is busy helping to lead Twilights to Bastard when some Twilights get attacked by normals, but Galahad is there to save them. And then he he decides to go find the hunters instead. During the fight, one of the guild members asks Minimi why is he burning down buildings. He says it brings in the money. Spaz is starting to lose his mind and begs Maverick to tell him what to do. Whilst Maverick is fighting two guild members, she tells him that she wants all the Twilights to suffer and die. We learn in her flashback it's because when she was a child, she was an orphan and the family who took her in were abusive. And the only person who cared about her was her biological son Abel. But he got killed by Twilights, which is pretty sad, and after that she swore that she would kill every single Twilight. Back at the Monroe estate, Nick and Warwick are defending it from the anti-Twilight members who want to kill Monroe. Connie's parents are giving guns to Twilights and her parents go outside to check on some Twilights and Connie is told to hide inside. The next chapter begins with little Spaz reading a story of a young man that is defending a town from monsters. He starts to compare it to what the hunters are doing by killing Twilights, which reinforces his idea that all Twilights are bad. Maverick quickly cleans up the guild members attacking her and tries to convince Spaz that all Twilights are bad. Bruno carries Sandra away, but before he can get her to safety she dies. Spaz encounters a bunch of dead normals. One of the survivors tries to shoot Spaz, but a Twilight saves him. The Twilight Dominic tells Fiona to run away and goes to attack Spaz. He gets cut and before he gets cleaned up, Fiona steps in to try to save him but also gets sent back to the lobby. Spaz is again questioning his morals and comes up with the conclusion that all Twilights are bad and that the humans were deceived by them. But he fails to fully convince himself that he's justified in killing Twilights. Spaz sees a pair of Twilight kids whose parents got cleaned up and lets them be. Beretta and Stryker get attacked by more guild members and some Monroe associates. And during the fight, Stryker asks where Monroe is to well have a nice cup of tea with him. Beretta is attacking the big boy Chow, but he seems to be enjoying it. Damn. And he doesn't seem to care getting his flesh ripped off. Warwick and Nick are still defending the Monroe estate, preparing to set up a trap to catch any protesters off guard and easily clean them up. Connie's parents are outside and Connie goes to see what is happening, when Maverick appears and cleans them up. And before she can get to Connie, Spaz stops her and tries to talk her out of it. Keith and Minimi are still fighting. At the end Keith gets killed, but before dying shoots Minimi with poison bullets, which come into play later on. We see in Minimi's flashback, Minimi's home is visited by some men. One of the men tells his mother that she can't keep on delaying her pay and suggests selling her daughter or even her own body. Minimi decides to stop his mother from crying by killing the men. When some cash drops out of their pockets, we see his mother smile. Sometime later, Maverick meets him and tells him he can earn quite a lot of cash by joining the Destroyers, which he accepts. Spaz and Maverick get ambushed by some guild members, but Minimi saves them, but Maverick is too far gone. So Spaz steps in and saves Connie and manages to get away, only getting slashed in the back. Minimi tells Maverick he's not important and just to leave him be. Joelle Revenue, the sweet but mean granny, gets stopped from running towards the gun store because of a fire. We see Luca helping Twilight escape a fire started by Minimi when he sees Joelle being upset and looking anxious. She's trying to reach her daughter, who is Constantine's mother. We see Spaz carrying Constantine when she gets angry and she starts attacking him, but he diffuses the situation and leaves. Beretta and Stryker are still fighting Chow and Howell. Stryker and Howell have an epic fight where Howell is protecting some Twilights, but at the end Stryker wins and is about to kill him when two guild members pull up, Twilight's Natalia and Sonia, and they save him and Chow. Back at the Monroe estate, Warwick and Nick are still defending the home, and the trap they set up worked and stopped the attackers from breaching the house. Monroe's men tell him what the situation is like. He says that they should be fine, and after all, you're my precious shields. Spaz decides to try to stop his friends from killing more people. When on his way, a fire stops him and a car pulls up behind him. Inside Luca and Joelle. Spaz gets ready to run away, but a bullet from Luca stops him. When Joelle starts asking what happened to her daughter and the other people, Spaz tells the truth, that the normals are dead, but the child is not. Joelle starts crying, but Spaz tells her that he'll make sure that she's safe. Luca asks him on what side he's on, him responding he doesn't know, and Spaz decides to go find her and save her. After some fighting, Howell gets knocked out, and he has a flashback in which Monroe tells him to be a decoy but not a dead one. He wakes up and protects Chow from a strike from Stryker. They continue fighting, even landing a good strike on Stryker. Again, somewhere random we see normals beating up Twilights when Galahad and his gang roll up and step in to defend them. Galahad starts questioning their commander about are they working for the Destroyers. He says they took the advantage to attack and that the others are fighting at Monroe. Outside the Monroe estate, after a lot more fighting, Warwick realizes where the commander of the attackers is, and they capture him. Nick and Warwick are interrogating their prisoner, but he won't talk. But in the meanwhile, Minimi sees that Maverick has gone a bit crazy. But before they have a chance of regrouping with the others, they get attacked by, well, a group of 4 guild members. I'm going to give you their names, so when they perish, you can be sad. We have Arnold the smart one, Neko the small one, Gerard the average British bloke, and Leanne the female. We see Nick and Worker softly and nicely interrogating their prisoner, when he finally tells them that they're pretty much a distraction and will pull back when they get a signal. Spaz is running away from Galahad and the gang when he has to defend himself and makes a few of them unable to fight. He manages to crawl into a house and goes to hide. Inside he finds Lazarus and Helena. Lazarus asks if he's going to kill them, and if so, do not kill the child because she's a normal, but she steps in front of him to protect him, which causes Spaz to fall to his knees and it breaks his mind. He becomes confused and wonders why would she protect the Twilight. When Galahad and the gang enter the building, he hides again, but when questioned about Spaz, Lazarus doesn't give away his position, so they leave. Lazarus tells him he doesn't get to die now and has to atone and live with his actions. And before leaving, Lazarus asks about his answer, him saying, "My answer." During the standoff between Maverick, Minimi, and the 4 guild members, Maverick decides to leave to find Spaz. So Minimi gets attacked by 3 guild members. Leanne manages to reach and stop Maverick, so they have a fight. Minimi gets injured, but nothing to stop him from putting up a good fight. We see the Twilight kids enjoying themselves and playing at the orphanage. The next chapter opens up with the orphanage being attacked and Erica being taken away. Erica is the sister of Delico, and in the main story we get more info about her, what happened with her, and it's pretty messed up. But enough of that. Warwick and Nick reach the orphanage and manage to save Yang and Delico. The fight between Minimi, Maverick, and the guild members continue. Maverick gets a hallucination of Abel and leaves, again leaving Minimi in a good position, but this time Leanne fails to follow her because Minimi used Fireball. The next panel shows Stryker fighting the 2 sisters, when he manages to kill Sonia after disarming Natalia. Then Stryker manages to land a nasty hit on Howl and Chow. When the fire comes down and the dust settles, Minimi manages to kill nobody with his attack, and then gets comboed and almost gets killed, but Spaz saves him, then tries to convince him to step down from the mission, but he refuses. So Spaz leaves, but Neko follows him. Stryker wants Howl to take him to Monroe and whispers something in his ear, surprising Howl. We get the 2 sisters flashback and Natalia loses all hope to live, using a grenade to send both of them back to the lobby, almost killing Beretta, but she's fine. I wonder if this situation will happen ever again. Minimi realizes that his family needs the money and decides to stay and fight, but also knowing he doesn't have a lot of time after getting shot by poison bullets. Minimi is fighting Arnold and Leanne when he gets thrown to the floor and he's about to get finished off, but Arnold starts talking and Minimi throws his karambit at Leanne and she falls to the ground. Arnold is getting clapped by Minimi when Leanne tackles him and Arnold uses her as a shish kebab to stab her and Minimi, which kills Leanne and Arnold bleeds out. Warwick and Nick bring Yang and Delico to Bastard, finding the bodies of the 2 lovers in the street. Sadly, Maverick finds Lazarus and Helena, and in a brief fight, brutally cleans them up, in her quest to find Spaz. Spaz is being chased by Neko and tells him he doesn't want to fight, but Neko decides to attack him, and in defense, Spaz cuts his leg off. Gerard carries him away, but both of them get caught by Maverick, who kills Gerard and de-arms Neko, but before he gets killed, Spaz stops Maverick and they start fighting. Natalia's explosion gave enough time for Stryker to carry Beretta to safety, and Chow and Howl do the same. After a while of limping away and meeting some more Somali pirates, guild members, Stryker finds them and cleans them up.
That's the cutest fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
But because they were heading to Monroe, Stryker now knows where to find him and decides to go confront Monroe. When Stryker reaches Monroe's front yard, he starts fighting Monroe's goons. Monroe is just staring at Stryker out the window. We see the orphanage kids getting driven off, and the signal flare gets shot, meaning now they can retreat. And Spaz is happy and thinks maybe Maverick won't kill him. Spaz starts talking about how maybe Twilights aren't bad and maybe that they're in the wrong. But Maverick tries to explain him how he's wrong and then tries to stab him. After a brief fight, she gets cut up. and before dying has one last hallucination of Abel. Beretta again finds Stryker and they leave the Monroe estate. Minimi is yet again committing war crimes, but he's not feeling so good and is limping away, not only because of his wounds but also from the poison. When Nick finally reaches him and finds him, they have a fight. Minimi tries to run away, but Nick follows. As Spaz is apologizing to what's left of Maverick, it says good timing happens and Stryker and Beretta find him. They think somebody else killed her and turn around to leave. When Spaz confesses to killing Maverick, they don't seem to care that much. But when he says that he's now returning to the destroyers, Stryker confronts him and Beretta almost gets killed, giving the perfect chance for Spaz to run away, but Stryker follows. We see back at Bastard, Luca is asking about Spaz and one little girl tells him where he is. Spaz and Stryker start fighting midair when Stryker launches Spaz into an abandoned warehouse, where they will have a reunion 12 years later. Minimi and Nick continue fighting when Minimi gets thrown into a flower storage silo and realizes he can't feel his leg. He gets a flashback where Maverick promises him that his family will get the money even if he died. After realizing that, he sets the flower silo on fire, but Nick manages to jump out to safety, which is the final nail in the coffin. And since Minimi can't feel his leg, now we can add him to the kill count. Spaz manages to overpower Stryker but is unable to bring himself to kill him. So Beretta attacks him and he gets comboed. And when he's about to die, Luca and the Paul Clique guild members find them. So Stryker and Beretta retreat. The guild members are planning to kill Spaz when Luca stops them. We see young Theo patching up Nick, and there's probably a short time jump where we see Spaz working in Bastard. The other waiters are bullying him for not doing a good job. When Luca and Sherry arrive at Bastard, she's walking around pregnant and everybody is cheering for them. When Luca tells Spaz to meet Sherry, he's a bit shy, but Sherry holds his hands and places them on her belly and tells him everything will be alright, which almost makes Spaz cry. As Spaz is working a normal shift, a woman recognizes him and attacks him for being a hunter, which makes Spaz depressed. When he's taking out the trash, Luca is waiting for him with a drink, and they have a chat. Luca tells him there's only one good tobacco store. He sends him to get some smokes, but Joel is angry and dumps water on him, telling him to leave and that he's not welcomed. After a while, the baby is born, and when Spaz is chilling, some people attack Bastard and he cleans them up, saving Sherry in the process. He visits Galahad in the hospital, and when he gets back, Luca introduces him to his daughter Loretta. Luca gives him the name Marco Adriano. Then Marco swears he will protect his daughter, and Luca gives him a new string watch. Near the end, we see Marco talking with Constantine and she calls him an idiot and a curse. And at the end of his flashback, we see him back at the fight with Stryker in present time. And that's how Gangsta Cursed ends. So I'm just going to analyze characters that are important because most others don't really have anything for me to talk about. Luca Cristiano. The first time we meet him, we see him as a good and caring man, trying to help others in need. Kind-hearted, he helps Spaz into becoming Marco, and all in all, he's a very important character at the end of the story. Beretta is a rapt, violent, and a bloodthirsty woman who is very calm about any situation and usually has a smile on her face. Like the other destroyers, she is cruel, chaotic, dangerous, remorseless, and very sadistic, and she calls killing a game. Maverick is a complicated character. On one side, she's a loving and good person to her companions, and on the other side, she is brutal. Being abused as a child must have been horrible, and after Abel's death, all she wanted was revenge, and started hating Twilights and anybody with them. A very interesting character that met a pretty sad end. Minimi, quiet and serious. From his youth, his family had money problems, so a job like the attack seemed a perfect way to make some money. He didn't hate the Twilights, just cared more about his family, which you can't really hate because growing up poor and having a chance to solve that is great. At the end, he had no choice but to sacrifice himself. Spaz, at the start he's just like the other destroyers, but after the first seed of doubt was planted of his righteous cause, made him realize he doesn't like killing. At first he didn't want to change, but after so much killing and a chat with Lazarus, made him start a new path. He didn't know what to do anymore, and he wanted to stop the destroyers from killing. He still saw his comrades as friends, even saving Minimi from being killed, and he tried to convince him to stop, but he refused. But meeting Maverick sealed his fate. And at the end, he couldn't save his comrades, and after being saved by Luca, he became the person he was meant to be. Striker is a bloodthirsty character, pretty much Beretta but male. He didn't care when Maverick died or really cared about anything else except killing and Beretta. And he really hates Monroe, which I guess is interesting if you read the main story, which I won't spoil. I really liked how they made the artwork, and whilst I have some problems with the story, it's pretty fun to read. And all in all, I would recommend it for you to actually read all the way through. It's not too long and it wraps up nicely. This video was a blast to make. I don't expect somebody to read all the panels that I made, it was just because I was bored, and hopefully it doesn't distract too much. And yeah, my next project will probably be the main comics / story of Gangsta, and that'll be fun to make. But yeah, thanks for reaching the end, I hope you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Goodbye.